I'm looking forward to my dad's birthday this weekend. I was thinking about making a cake. I'll be doing some baking in lockdown. I made a carrot cake the other day. I don't even like carrot cake. They serve it for lunch at school sometimes. I remember I tried it once in year 8, even though everyone said how minging it was. I thought they were just exaggerating, but they were right. I practically spat it out and straight into Esme's face across the table. It was embarrassing, but funny. There were bits of carrot cake in her hair all day. I thought I wouldn't tell her until we got back to hers after school. We were supposed to go from there to meet up with the others at the Apex. Thankfully, Esme was totally fine about the whole spitting carrot cake in her face in front of everyone situation, and she even offered me some clothes to change into. Our uniform was dark green, and now sprinkled with carrot cake crumbs. I had to change. As we were leaving, Esme shouts, "Bye, Mum." Suddenly her little brother appears out of nowhere and points at me. I'd never actually met him before, but Esme reminds us on a daily basis that he's a little shit. I look at him and smile, to which he shouts, "She can't be in here." Just as Esme approaches the front door, she turns around and says, "What do you mean?" I'm now standing in like this awkward position because Esme's little brother's blocking the way out. I then notice Esme's mum to my left in the living room, and she's turning down the volume on the TV to hear what's going on. Esme's little brother stares at me with wide-eyed confusion and says, "Because she looks different." You probably thought this speech was going to be about carrot cake. Well, I'm afraid to all those Great British Bake Off fans, it's not. Esme's little brother thought that because I wasn't white, that made me different. Not only different, but bad. I wasn't annoyed at him. He was only 5 or 6. I didn't think he was Hitler Youth or anything. What upset me was Esme's mum's reaction to all this. She laughed. I heard her laughing at what her son had said to me. Instead of educating him on the fact that there are different people in the world and that not all black people are bad as not all white people are bad. But no, she didn't even turn to acknowledge me. Not even a higher love like nice mums do, you know? She just slouched further and further into her armchair and turned the volume back up. I didn't really know what racism was until I was about 8 or 9. I was blissfully unaware until I moved out of London to a more predominantly white school. My family's very multiracial, and the primary school I went to in London had children from every culture under the sun. When I moved schools in year 4, I was then the only black child in my class. How do you know whether a white child is being racist or not just because they don't want to share a pen with you? One of my earliest memories from that school was being taunted by 3 white boys who called me a chocolate brownie. I've also been called a monkey and a blackie, to name a few. And now my white friends use the N-word in songs and think that that's okay. It's annoying because they choose the parts of our culture that benefit them, but they'll never fully accept us. Was I surprised when Esme didn't educate her brother? No, not really. As Esme's mum turned the volume up on the TV that day, it became obvious why. We learn a lot from our parents, don't we? That was only the beginning. Fitting in. All those standards that you have to live up to. Black Air Force Ones on your feet, otherwise you're broke. If you socialise with anyone in the younger years, it means you have no friends. If you wear your hair a different way, it means you're an attention seeker. If you hang out with boys, it means you're a slag. And not only that, but being treated as less. And you're constantly reminded of that. Constantly reminded that you'll have to try that little bit harder than white people to be accepted. Sometimes it's just hard to breathe. It's hard to breathe when I'm making a stupid carrot cake and I have to remember feeling different, inferior. It's sad because Some of the memories that really stand out carry that similar feeling. That day at Esme's house is but one. And now on Instagram, people are commenting all lives matter because Black Lives Matter is not inclusive enough. Yet white lives have never been in danger the same way Black lives have. White people have never faced the same oppression and police brutality the way that Black people have. Innocent Black people like George Floyd, like Sarah Reid and Shukri Abdi. They argue it doesn't happen here, but it does. I've been accused of stealing just because of the colour of my skin. I know what racial profiling is. To all my white friends and family, this is something you don't have to think about, but I'm asking you to think. Be there to listen. Shut down other white people that try to oppress people of colour. Call it out. Be an anti-racist. I think it really is just the little things that matter. It really is just as simple as being kind. I think that all we Black people want is a little more support and understanding. The carrot cake will probably be stale by now. Turns out no one in the house is keen on it, which is fair enough. But I'm going to bake a new cake. Something different. It's my dad's birthday this weekend, and he's had his fair share of stories too. The weather's nice, we'll sit outside, maybe have a barbecue, listen to some music. And then we'll kneel outside the house in solidarity. My dad says he's not going to hold his breath. He doesn't think things will change. But I'm still undecided.